This video is about the first few letters that the Zodiac mailed to the newspapers. This envelope to the Vallejo Times-Herald with the letter and cipher enclosed was the first. Now there were 3 letters mailed on that day, Thursday, July 31st, 1969, but this one was the first written. How do I know? Because the first part of the 3-part cipher was mailed with this letter. And you can see that the Zodiac edited the following letters when he copied or rewrote this letter for the San Francisco newspapers. You can see the Zodiac added near the golf course in Vallejo and changed some other minor parts. Now what strikes me is the details that the Zodiac provided. He pointed out the position of the bodies at the turnout on Lake Herman Road. My understanding is he wasn't there for a very long time because Stella drove by only a few minutes after he left, and because when the police arrived at the scene, David was still breathing. So I guess the Zodiac did linger around there for a short period of time, looking at what he did. Maybe he altered some of the evidence, like at the San Francisco crime scene, like wiping down the taxi door handles. With the first letters, the Zodiac demanded that the cipher be on the front page by Friday afternoon, August 1, 1969. If you do not do this, I will go on a kill rampage. Friday night will last the whole weekend. I will cruise around and pick off all stray people or couples that are alone, then move on to kill some more until I have killed over a dozen people. The next letter that the Zodiac sent, only to the Vallejo Herald Times, was replying to the police chief's comments that he wasn't the killer or might not be the killer, and so he provided these details. Then the Zodiac killer, about 3 weeks later, attacked Brian and Cecilia at Lake Berryessa. But he didn't write after that. It wasn't until after he killed cab driver Paul Stein that the Zodiac mailed this letter, along with a piece of his shirt. Notice that this letter says, "I am the same man who did in the people in the North Bay area," because he mailed this letter to the San Francisco Chronicle. Then the letter mentions that the San Francisco police could have caught him if they weren't busy holding road races with their motorcycles. And then the bottom of the letter, "School children make nice targets." At this time, on October 13th, he's still talking about shooting people. It isn't until a month later that he starts talking about a bomb. And then the next communication from the Zodiac was on October 22nd, 1969, when he called the Oakland PD. And he said, "This is the Zodiac speaking. I want you to get in touch with F. Lee Bailey. If you can't come up with Bailey, I'll settle for Mel Belli. I want one or the other to appear on the Channel 7 talk show. I'll make contact by phone." Then the next communication was the greeting card with the dripping pen and the 340 symbol cipher. "I hope you are having lots of fun in trying to catch me. That wasn't me on the TV show," which brings up a point about me. I am not afraid of the gas chamber. because it will send me to paradise all the sooner, because I now have enough slaves to work for me, where everyone else has nothing when they reach paradise. So they are afraid of death. I am not afraid because I know that my new life in life will be an easy one in paradise death. Now that letter was on November 7th, on Saturday, and the next day, Sunday, he dropped off at the San Francisco Chronicle a 7-page letter. And this letter talks about the bomb and has the diagram and has the crosshairs with the little X's where he has killed before. And then in my opinion, there's 2 X's that we don't know what they're pointing at. One's pointing to the west and then one's pointing south. Also, this letter has the new way of collecting slaves. And at this point, there's no more shooting victims. Now the next 3 Zodiac letters have to do with a bomb. This one talks about a bomb. Then the next one, the My Name Is, has a bomb diagram. And then the man on a dragon greeting card says, "Enjoy the blast." Then we get this letter from the Zodiac, along with a map and a cipher to figure out what it is. But the police can't figure out what it says. So about a month later, in one of his letters, he writes, "P.S. The Mount Diablo code concerns radians and inches along the radians." Well, it looks like the Zodiac wasn't able to make a bomb, and maybe he wasn't that intelligent. And here I've reached the gate and my car, so I guess I'll pick up on this the next episode.